Welcome to the 10th video in the series Making Joyces. I previously turned James Joyce's novel Ulysses into a half marathon. And in this series, I'm trying to go and show how I might go about filming that particular half marathon. I make episodes where I typically go around with the book and look at parts of Dublin, and then every now and then I'll come back here to dissect some of the learnings and try and see where we are. And what I've been trying to do is film and figure out how to film the Ulysses half marathon as a one episode item. Been making lots of little things and learning as I go along. A couple of key decisions. One is I have run previously and filmed it in one go using an Action 5 Pro or GoPro or similar little action camera. That's you can do that, but you only get one view. Okay, you can rotate, you can do various things, but essentially it's long and only one particular type of image. I want to have a range of different images, and I'll overlay some images here that have taken in the journey of learning how to get better at filming, running, various ones taken from around the place, around the world, I suppose. And I'll put some notes down as to what they were filmed on. And I've been going through the book, looking at locations to try and see how to do this. My plan is to take the run. In this series, I have finalized the run, but I'm going to take the run and itemize it as you would do on Strava, where you see little segments. So little pieces like the Tower, Sandy Cove, running along to Dunleary, all that kind of stuff. All of that kind of stuff I've got to do as different segments, and then the type of shot I want to get. And I've been putting it all into an Excel spreadsheet as we go along. I'm nowhere near finished, but I have an idea of what I want to do. And the idea would be that the shots would show a variety of type of things and not be repetitive. That's kind of it. I have to film on various different days. I can't carry all the cameras. This is supposed to be an action camera movie, not an action movie, but an action camera. In other words, I won't be bringing a Canon R5. It's big, it's heavy on a tripod and all sorts of paraphernalia. I won't be bringing any of that. I'll be bringing small scale stuff and trying to film myself in all sorts of different locations, but I'll be doing that on different days. The output will look like one run. I'm not trying to fool anybody that I ran it all in one go. I have run it all in one go several times. That's not the point. The point is to try and make something that is not visually jarring as you watch it. So that means I'm going to have to try and get the same lighting conditions. Pretty much I'm going to be using DJI equipment throughout, which should make color grading or color matching more easy. I'm not good at that. It's part of the learning experience. One of the reasons I do these things. I've got a color grade. I don't, as we go along in these sort of videos, I don't. It takes a long time, and I'm not trying to get a seamless thing. I'm just trying to get the information out there. Sometimes I'll film apart with the iPhone, sometimes with some sort of other camera, and I just put them together with minimal editing. It's not going to work for the final thing. So I'm going to have to do a lot of color grading. So in Ulysses set 16th June 1904, and in the novel, it's a bright sunny day. There's a cloud in the sky. I'm going to have to try and film all when it's cloudless. In this series, you'll see one day I'm on Western Row and it's absolutely pouring rain, and another day I'm outside the National Library and it's lovely and sunny. I'm going to have to try and film the entire thing on a lovely sunny day, and then bank the clips away before I figure out how to put them together. I could do it as one big ASMR thing. I could do that. I could do some with some narration. I could do some with reading passages of the book, talking various things. I don't know. I might do several different versions, and happy to be advised what you think will work or won't work and improve my skills along the way. But we'll talk a little bit about some of the cameras. I'll open up this big yellow box I have, and we'll go through some of the filming equipment. But in this particular box, and I have a couple of these boxes, this is just sort of most of the action cams. This one is out. It's an Action 5 Pro. I think I have a GoPro Hero 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, and a 6. I won't be using any of those. I'll be using mainly the DJI. But inside here, there are also all sorts of selfie sticks. This one is this from Insta360. It's a relatively small handle stick. And this is a special mount. This is a tripod, a collapsible tripod by eye footage. So when I'm out around Dublin, you might see me using this quite a bit. Very easy, very stable, very easy to carry, very stable, really great piece of kit. Use that all the time. But that with this monopod will be used quite a bit, because with the monopod you can get height to 2.5 meters. I've been trying to scout locations in the last of this series of videos. I was filming Davy Burns, and I actually went into Marks and Spencer to take the picture out the window. I won't be doing any of that for the actual movie thing. It'll all be from public places, but there'll be various different types of camera shots, as well as this. You can film, you can lay it down, but this is little tripod legs. You can lay this down, jump over this. There's various shots where you jump over, and again I'll show some of these in the footage, but you can jump over. You can run it through water as it goes through the beach in Sandymount Strand. I have to run through some water, probably some of that. So that is flexible. You can also run with a battery pack. I've done this is a battery pack that'll power it for 4 hours, but I'll be making individual scenes. But if I was doing it all in one go, which I've done before, I'd bring this. Of course, you got to hold it for that length of time, or stash it if you can. There's various clips to cameras or to caps, all sorts of mounting systems. But there's a couple of other cameras that are interesting. This is one from a few years ago. I don't use this anymore. This is an Insta360 Go 2. It's really nice, small, compact. And you pull it out, and you stick it to a cap. The user face is terrible. I mean, really terrible. I won't be using this, and the image quality isn't great. So I won't be using that one. The DJI Nano was DJI's version. It's much bigger in some senses, but it's got a big battery pack here. It attaches to this. It's got about 20 minutes runtime or something like that. Clips onto your cap, which is really good for headshots straight ahead. Your head, when you're running fast, your head is much more stable than your arms. If you watch my running videos, you'll have seen some head cam. I'll show some here, and you'll see what goes wrong when you do bad arm. You'll have seen ones where I'm running along with the camera on this, and I'm trying to sprint to the finish, and it all goes haywire. In that scenario, that's okay, because you're trying to show it's haywire. My Ulysses video, that's not what I'm going to try and show. So I've got that. I recently bought, this is an Osmo 360, a DJI Osmo 360. There's a lens either side, get a full 360 immersive view. Tried it in one of the earlier videos on this, going down in O'Connell Street, with very limited success. I'll have to be better at it than that. But I did get a great shot in the car in Northern Ireland that I was really pleased with. It only came out a couple of weeks ago, so I'm novice at this. I will be doing some shots with that. There's also then the old flying camera. I'm doing several shots with the flying camera. This is a DJI Neo drone. This I won't be using. I've got 3 DJI drones. A Mini Pro 4, which is the one I use mainly if you've seen drone footage on this particular channel. It's less than 250 grams. That's a thing. And below that, drones in the US and in the UK and in Europe, regulatory, it's easier. I'm a lot of the drone footage, certainly the stuff you'll have seen in Dublin and on this channel, will be filmed with the DJI Mini Pro 4. But when I finally get around to filming the film, it'll all be done in a DJI Mavic Pro 4. Unless it takes me so long that there's various superseded versions. But a Mavic Pro 4, which is it's a bigger operation. All the coastal videos with the drone will be done with that. And you can set waypoints so that it'll film, tilt its gimbals, do various things at certain points, and you can set all of that up in the slightly smaller drone, and then it'll replicate it for the bigger drone, meaning that you can go back and do footage at a different day, different time, all these kinds of things. So I'll build up this bank of clips. I'll have an Excel spreadsheet that matches them to each other. I'll then try and color grade them, and then figure out how I go putting it all together to make one seamless narrative movie, completely unlike what happens here, where I'm trying to chop and change all of the time. In the finished product, I just want one seamless. One of the things I use is, you'll have seen this before, this is a DJI Mic 2 little transmitter. You can clip it to your shirt with magnets, or what I typically do is put it in my shorts, and in a pocket in the shorts, and use a lav mic coming through. I typically do it, I might be running a marathon, but one of these things on. I don't want it if it's magnetically bouncing off somewhere, and but I've got a pair of those, so if there's two people running, you can do that if not lots of times. But that's being, there's a new version, the DJI Mic 3 is coming out next week. I'm going to get that because it'll be smaller, and size does matter. So it'll be, mainly because it'll be more discreet. It's smaller, more discreet, easier to carry around, and various things like that. So there will be some technology that improves, but this is not about technology. If you, as a viewer, notice the technology in the final product, then I've failed. It's supposed, that's not the plan at all. It's in the background, allowing me to use different things to show different things, running through water on Sandyman Strand, the sound of Sandyman Strand, which somebody asked me to record years ago. I've done that a few times here and there, but we'll be recording sounds. So it could be that I'll have the advantage of those, they link directly to the camera or the various DJI cameras, and I could have one transmitter down in my sock, and I can have one transmitter here, and then the sound I can get both sounds, and I can balance them out in post-production. That's kind of it. I also want to do, I met a guy a couple of years ago who told me Foley is really important, ambient sounds. So I'm going out and separately recording ambient sounds around Dublin when I'm out and about. I'll probably do that several times over and over again to get the kind of clips you want. So if in the story it says that the tram comes clanking, you might have a sound of a tram clanking. That's happened naturally every time I've ever filmed it. If they clank when I go to town. With those kinds of things, sounds of the sea, all of that. And so that if you're narrating a run, there's a nice rhythm. Well, I find a nice rhythm to the sound of footsteps sometimes if you're showing images. I certainly do that when I'm running races, and you do that, and there's a way of trying to get them to match when you cut the clips so that the beat goes on. But then overlaying on top of that, if you're narrating, that sound plus the sound of seagulls or whatever else may work. And that's all. And I've got to improve my narration skills. There's a million skills I've got to improve, and that's part of making this series. The idea is that I go through parts of the book, and then probably every 2 or 3 or 3 or 4, I'll come back here and document some of the learning or some of the things that I'm doing in relation to this. I've no idea how many episodes it will be or how long it will take. But the next episode, we're going back to the Nashville Library, and we'll see you there in a week or two.